Welcome back to my channel. Today we are reacting to parts of Amberlynn's new video.
I know I have not really been posting, and honestly it's because so much is like going on up here that it's hard for me to sit and focus. Plus I've been busy out doing things, and it's just like I went through a very big moment by, moving to a completely different state, living by myself for the first time in my life in this way, around family that I haven't been around since I was 18 years old. I'm 32 now. I was ending a relationship with a person that I thought I was gonna be with forever, that I literally thought I was going to marry. There was a lot of different things happening and which are still happening. And it's just like I was filming every single day and uploading every other day. And I think I just got burnt out because it really was just like so much at once, and I was feeling extremely overwhelmed, and I've kind of just like disappeared. So I do want to say I'm sorry for that.
I don't think it's weird to feel overwhelmed because of everything that is happening. However, you have been able to prepare for these changes for a couple of months before you actually had to say goodbye to Wifey and move to a different state. I think you get extremely unproductive when it comes to YouTube if things are getting hard in your personal life, but because of the way YouTube works you can take breaks sometimes. It is annoying as a viewer, but it's your own choice. The hardest thing about you taking a mental health break for a while is the fact that you come back, not having improved your mental health whatsoever from what we can see as a viewer.
Why are you suddenly no longer complaining about any of your multiple health issues that were always causing you to be set back, or your mental health problems that you felt the need to feel to use as a crutch every day suddenly healed from everything? So before I answer that, I just want to say that's really sad that like when people are vocal about their like mental health or physical stuff, that people say, oh, you're using that as a crutch. When it's like when things are too late or things have gone too far or you are too far gone, people are like, oh, you should have spoke up, you should have said something. And it's like, I am very much that person that I do speak up, I do say something. But I've noticed I have taken a lot of steps back in that regard because I am feeling constantly judged. I am feeling like people think that I do use it as a crutch or an excuse. So I think that's the reason why that I'm not talking about those things anymore, because like even in this person's question, they said like, why are you no longer complaining about these things? I never feel like I'm coming from a complaining spot. I've always just tried to take pride in like being vocal about my mental health or like things that I'm going through. But overall, the reason why I'm not talking about these things anymore is because I have taken a step back of talking about really personal things. And it's because of the response that I receive when I do that, because the response that I receive doesn't help me, it actually makes me feel worse.
Unfortunately, the response that she receives is not the right one. In her opinion, when she started explaining her mental health issues years ago, people were sympathetic and understanding. However, she did not do anything to help herself with these issues, even though she has the resources. So the response was getting more negative as she did use her mental health as an excuse multiple times. You can see her community being a lot more supportive when she did finally see a therapist, but somehow Amberlynn always manages to find healthcare providers that tell her she is completely doing everything right and that she should not change even a bit, and when they do tell her she has unhealthy habits, Amberlynn feels qualified enough to tell us that they are wrong and she is right.
Has Feline ghosted you? Okay, so the answer is no. But I really hurt her after we broke up by falling in love with someone else. I hurt her a lot, and I take accountability. I obviously just could not control falling in love with someone else. I very much fell in love. I did. And it just was really hard for her, and it became hard for me, and it became a very big mess. And it just really went to show like how much she did love me, and I felt horrible, and I tried to fix it, but I kept failing at fixing it, and it made it to where she doesn't even want to continue being my friend. So I went through like a whole separate heartbreak in private. Like, I just feel like I'm reliving the heartbreak just a million times over. We were cordial for a bit after she left. We would text. Then like almost daily I would text her like, I love you, I miss you, because I just felt like I needed her to know. And I needed her to know that I was sorry that I hurt her. I talked it over with a friend, and they said, I think it's time that you just like respect her and stop contacting her, and it's been really hard. This is gonna sound dumb to some people, but I am on day 5 of not contacting her. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, that's so unhealthy. Trust me, I get it. I have mental illness. And Feline was my very best friend for like over 2 years. You know, I thought I was gonna marry her, and it's just been really, really hard. So we are not in contact, and I'm going to be respecting her wishes, even if it's really freaking hard. Like, it's been so hard. Like, I have wanted to call her, I've wanted to text her, and just these last 5 days, and it's like I can't. And it's just been a whole other level of torture because I miss her so much. And I just think, out of respect for her and for myself and for our relationship, I don't want to talk about her. And I know a lot of people think that like I'm gonna come on here and say bad things about her. Not gonna happen. It's never gonna happen.
My first point would be that her not being able to control falling in love with someone else is literally insane when you know this person was someone she had never met in real life and only talked to online for maybe 3 weeks. The second point is that I think she is saying that after the internet stranger dumped her, she tried to make it up by hooking up with Wifey for a while before they moved. And she just expected Wifey to stay best friends with her. According to her, she dumped Wifey first, so I can see it being very messy. The third point is that, as many others, I feel like Wifey might just feel like this was a fun experience for a little while, and then when it got too serious she just wanted to cut all ties. I don't think Amberlynn hurt her so deeply that she can never talk to her again. I think Wifey was just done with the whole situation.
Do you think it's wise to be drinking all the time with all the medications you are on? I actually am not on any medications at all. I can't tell you the last time I took a medication. It's been months since I've been off of like anxiety medicine or for my bipolar, but I actually am taking a break on the whole drinking thing because I felt like I was turning to it. I did go through a phase a couple years ago where I was turning to alcohol, and the last time I drank was on live stream. I was drinking whiskey. It's because I was turning to alcohol because I just felt like I needed something so I didn't have to feel what I was currently feeling. And that's when I told myself, okay, I need to stop drinking because I'm not going to use alcohol as a crutch. I'm not that person, or at least I thought I wasn't that person. But when I told myself I was going to stop drinking, I was able to do that. I didn't drink for about 1.5 years. And now I'm finding myself going back to that. Like, at first I was like, you know what? Single era, I live by myself, have a couple drinks. There's nothing wrong with that. But then I realized, okay, I like the way this makes me feel. I like that it's taking away certain emotions, heightening other emotions, and it's making me feel good. Then I started doing it more frequently, and I kind of diagnosed with depression for the first time because like I was in foster care, and just no 9-year-old should ever be diagnosed with that. But since then, you know, I've been diagnosed with OCD, I've been diagnosed with PTSD, bipolar, and those things were like so much easier for me to accept, and I don't really know why. I was actually diagnosed on my 19th session with my psychologist with borderline personality disorder. And for some reason, I had a hard time accepting that, and still have a hard time accepting that because it's obvious. It's obvious that I have borderline personality disorder, and it's something that like I always purposely pushed away. Like, people would contact me and be like, you know, you seem like you have BPD, and I just automatically would shut them down and be like, nope. I don't know what it is. I think it's because with everything else, you know, like anxiety, okay? Take some medicine, try some Zoloft, see if that helps. Bipolar, take some mood stabilizer, see if that helps, you know. But with borderline personality disorder, there isn't really a medicine for that. You have to work. And it's just like, this diagnosis explains literally probably 95% of the reason why I am the way that I am. And I don't know if I want to like talk about it anymore because, again, it's hard for me to accept. I don't know why. It's that one thing where I kept telling myself, this can't be real, this can't be true, and it is. And now it's just something else that I have to put in work, and it's just, maybe I feel like it's a bit unfair, and then I have to remind myself life isn't fair. you know? People are dealt their cards, and it's kind of like how you play them. That's like the motto that I need to live by currently. It's like, okay, my cards were dealt. Now let's play them, you know, in a way that's just gonna make your life more positive.
I am sympathetic towards her when it comes to this diagnosis. It can be very hard to accept that you might not be cured, for the lack of better terms, in your lifetime, but even when explaining this, she is telling us exactly what she needs to do, work. And I think that maybe a big part of the dread comes from knowing she has to put in hard work for this to stop influencing her life as heavily as it does. She has never worked hard for anything in all the years we have seen her on YouTube. Easy fixes, like medicine, will not help her this time, and I feel like that might be the biggest problem she has with this diagnosis. That's just my opinion.
Okay, I've had a lot of people ask if I will be doing Vlogmas this year, and honestly, I don't know. Because my last Vlogmas was my favorite Vlogmas of all time. Because I remember how I felt during it. Not a lot of people have to enjoy it. It's fine. I mean, if you enjoyed it, thank you so much. But it's like, for me, a lot of my memories come from like, how did that make me feel? I remember how people make me feel, how situations make me feel above anything else. And I remember Vlogmas making me happy. I felt happy. I felt at home, I felt content, I was sad for it to end, and it's because of the things I was doing in Vlogmas. I know I just said I wasn't gonna talk about Feline much, but she is a very large portion of the reason why I enjoyed Vlogmas so much. I feel like we had a very good time, and so now when I think of Vlogmas, I think of her. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna manage. So for right now, I do not know. I love Vlogmas, but do I love it enough to every day be super sad over it? I don't know.
I think you might be able to enjoy Vlogmas even more this year with your family around and more things to do and see outside of the presents. I think Vlogmas might be good for you this year. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below.